Lord Sugar, I want to ask you about how important it is to look after contestants on your show, The Apprentice. You have people from, all walks of life come in to compete. They come in for a lot of public scrutiny, particularly on social media. What sort of duty of care do you show to them?
OK, well, it's a very good point. There is a recruitment process which we start off, we get thousands of people who want to come and join the show. We then hone in on the, say 25 or 30 people. And then before we allow them, before we tell them they can come on the show, they go through a process of they have to see a psychiatrist and they have to talk about their past life and all that stuff and whether they can take the stress and the strain and all that. So at the BBC, and I'm sure the ITV are the same, they have a duty of care to make sure that no one enters the process if there's any chance of it causing them any trauma whatsoever.
Right, I mean, see, ultimately, the issue, it seems to me, is seeing this with two Love Island contestants who took their own lives and now this tragedy on the Jeremy Kyle show, is that ultimately these are people who are voluntarily going on television. No one's forcing them to. And it raises a lot of complex issues about whether they are up for doing it, as you say. But you can check people as much as you like. But ultimately, if they really want to do it and they know the show they're appearing on and they know what may happen, whether it's you maybe having a pop at them or Jeremy Kyle interrogating them in the way that everyone knows he does, ultimately it's hard, isn't it, with so many shows on television to know how you would stop any risk, really, of any side effects of a negative way with people who appear on television.
I agree with you, but I mean, in defence of programmes like The Apprentice or Britain's Got Talent or the other singing show that Simon Cowell does, I mean, it's an ongoing process and we have people that are looking after the candidates all the time. We have what was known as a house team and they're keeping their eyes on people all the time. They get colds, they get sniffles, they get headaches and all that stuff and we're looking after them all the time. And I'm sure ITV do exactly the same. The Jeremy Kyle show is a different kettle of fish, unfortunately. The format is completely different, as you know, and it is brought to television because it is good television. It's not perhaps what I think is good television. Love Island, I have got no idea why it drove those people to die. I mean, I don't know whether there is any correlation between that or not. But certainly on our show, these people are looked after very, very well.
Let's talk about Jeremy Corbyn. You've been very scathing about him. You've even threatened to leave the country if he becomes Prime Minister, which is not necessarily a mad idea.
Piers, in all, this is something you'd like. I declared it on your programme live, so you can claim that, just like all the other things you claim about winning The Apprentice in America and all that stuff.
I did win The Apprentice in America.
I declared on your programme live that I am going to leave this country if Corbyn gets into power. And, I pride myself in having a little bit of foresight. Now you can see I've become like the Pied Piper. There's a whole group of people, businessmen, people that are saying exactly the same thing.
The problem is that people will hear you, Lord Sugar, saying you're going to leave the country if Corbyn gets in, and that might make them vote for Corbyn.
Exactly. I mean, some people have said to me, can we drive you to the airport? That's fine.
I think Piers might have said that on occasion.
I've got my own car, I'll go in my own car and I'll go to the airport in my own car. But in all seriousness...
You fly your own plane, can't you?
People like you... Yeah, I fly my own plane also. But in all seriousness, Piers, you don't realise how dangerous this is. A highly paid television executive like yourself might realise one morning, why am I getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do this TV programme when 80% of my income is being taken by this red fellow here, this communist? you might suddenly realise that, and you might join me. You might come and join me. We never know. Or you might get a good job in America that you can hold.
What do you make of the rise of Nigel Farage and his Brexit party out of nowhere, now storming ahead in the polls in the European elections?
Farage and Corbyn should get together. They're like Morecambe and Wise, the pair of them, honestly. I mean, it is another clown, Farage, really. He really is. He's caused all this trouble. He's caused all the trouble we're in at the moment, talking about leaving the European Union, OK? I don't know anything. Look, he's going to win some votes with this European thing that he's doing at the moment, the Brexit party. Brexit, yeah. It sounds like it sounds like a breakfast cereal from Kellogg's, doesn't it? So it does. You know, high fibre breakfast cereal.
I think it's a bit early for you, isn't it? I think you need a cup of coffee. It seems like you're losing your marbles.
Go and have some nice breakfast cereal.
No. It is. The guy, look, he did. What was the party he was the leader of in the beginning?
UKIP.
I can't remember. What was it called?
UKIP.
UKIP. So he left UKIP. They then appointed about 6 other leaders. They all left after about 2 weeks. Then he goes and stands there with President Trump. I don't know if he got paid for that. Trump took him over there when he was doing his election campaign. Said, look at this fine fellow here. He led the whole of Britain out of the European Union. He stood there like a tailor's dummy. And now he's come back thinking to himself, I've got another opportunity now. I'm starting a new party.
OK.
I mean, it is the Pied Piper situation.
Well, you've made your feelings very clear about a number of issues this morning, as always, Lord Sugar. Good to see you. Just to reveal to the public, you and I will be meeting on Saturday to record my Life Stories show.
Oh, yes.
Where I will have you sitting in front of me in a darkened room for several hours as I interrogate you about the most difficult times of your life. So enjoy yourself.
OK. And it might be such a good show that you might actually get a BAFTA for it. You never know.
Lord Sugar, I'll see you on Saturday. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Love him.
I'm going to make him cry on Life Stories. I'm going to make him sob like a little baby. Anyway.
Or he might make you cry.
He might. I doubt it.